And we are live once again on Roofing on the Rise, where we bring you the roofing industry and the innovations and the people that bring that innovations to you. Today we have an awesome guest, Jack Hanks with VPA. Jack, welcome on.
Good morning, man. How are you today?
Man, I am doing awesome. Doing awesome.
Cool.
So how are you? It's been a while. It's been like I want to say a couple of years, man. I haven't been to a conference in probably 2 years. How you been?
Oh man, we are knee deep in claims and appraisals and doing our thing. So yeah, it's been a business. So we just VPA just became 2 years old next week. So we're knee deep in it.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. It seems a lot longer and a lot shorter at the same time, if that makes sense. So
Absolutely. Yeah, so,
yeah.
tell me about that. Tell our viewers a little bit about VPA and what you do at VPA.
Well, I mean, once again, we're a licensed public adjusting and appraisal firm. We're licensed in 38 states around the country, and ironically, we've done work in all those in the last couple of years. So, our job is to get hired by the insured and get the claim right, represent them, and negotiate in good faith and do the right thing, and get the people on the other side to come with a good offer and negotiate and get done to get these people whole and their businesses whole, in a nutshell. So, and there's about 8,000 things in between all that. So, right.
Absolutely. I
And
mean,
nobody wants to talk about it or hear about it. They just want the results. They don't care about the meat and potatoes of it all. So
man, yeah, that is kind of a thing,
yeah,
and then you get those calls left and right, "I don't have my money. Where's
yeah.
my money at? Where are you at?" I'm sure you deal with a lot of that.
Well, I mean, we try to set. So the biggest thing, man, the first phone call, I literally set the expectations. Like, some of these larger claims or hurricane claims, we tell the clients it's a year. You
Yeah,
have a year of living hell in front of you. I'm really sorry. The insurance company wrote you a check for $17,000. Your claim is 300. So we're not going to be able to drive to their office in Bloomington, Illinois, and pick up a check for you tomorrow. It's not going to work that way. So, the devil's in the details, and it's the guys we talk all the time, like we're part psychiatrists, right? Because we're the only ones talking to them.
right.
They're not talking to the carrier. The contractor's on hold waiting on us. So it's if we can get the empathy and the psychology part down in our business, that's what we're working on, because that's the hardest part actually, is getting people on board and understanding, like, man, I know you lost everything. We're doing everything we can, but it's going to be a few more months, and they don't want to hear that sometimes, but you got to make sure that you're very diplomatic and you're not blowing smoke, because the last thing, I mean, our industry is famous for overpromising, right? So we really, really,
Yeah.
really try to stay away from that. And all it does is get people pissed and upset and rub the wrong way. And they're living in apartments or trailers or whatever. They're not comfortable. And I get that. So it
Yeah.
sucks. Yeah.
So manage expectations. That's
You know.
that's a big deal. Like, um, you know, I, I feel like a lot of the times, people or uh, uh, public adjusters that are out there, there's a lot of them that don't manage those
Yeah.
expectations. And so that's where there's a muddy water, if you
Yeah.
will, between the client and the contractor, and nobody knows what's going on.
Yep.
I find it refreshing that, you sit down with them and you give them a managed expectation and let them know what's going on. And you pretty much hit everything that you need to do in a sale. You went after and let them know, hey, look, I do understand what you're going through. Like you had that empathy, and
Yep.
that's an awesome thing. So tell me about changes in UPA. So I know that was big in the last few years, right? Have you seen any issues with that with contractors?
Mm,
This is
well,
something that not a lot of people are talking about. So
here's my thing on UPA, right? So there's not enough public adjusters and attorneys to go around,
yeah,
right? So everybody knows that. Let me rephrase that. There's not enough good public adjusters or good attorneys to go around, right?
yeah, yeah,
But I think less than 4% of the claims get representation on, and probably a third of those are proper representation. So there's a very small, minuscule amount of claims that people get the right thing done for them on their behalf. The other 96% of them are on their own, flapping in the breeze.
Mhm.
I was a contractor forever. I come from that background, and let me tell you my philosophy on the UPA stuff. Should contractors be able to talk policy? No. Can they talk about damages all day long in their estimate? You're damn right they should be able to. You
Okay.
guys, I'm not a roofer, man. I'm
Right.
not. I don't know, nor do I want to be. My
Right.
job is to get claims bought and paid. I have great relationships with my roofing company, like great relationships. I rely on them to tell me what the hell this stuff is and how mechanically go. I don't
Right.
know. They need to tell me. So here's my thing with the UPA laws, man. If it were when I become president of the World Claim Association someday, um, I would draw a line somewhere like anything 100 grand, a roofer, a contractor, as long as they're qualified and have a license, I feel should be able to talk about a claim, that
Okay.
particular claim, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't take a rocket science to read a freaking policy, right?
Right.
It's not. It's laid out if you know what you're doing, but there got to be. The problem is it's that small percentage on both sides that has a problem. There's
Right.
shitty roofers, there's shitty PAs, shitty attorneys, shitty IAs. There's that 5% on each side that ruins it for all of us, right? All the
Right.
roofing companies I do work with, I have no problem with them. They know what they're doing, right?
Right.
So maybe we find a way that anything under 100 grand, a roofing company can take care of a claim without involvement of a PA, because that's going to help a lot more people, right? That's
Right.
that's what I'm all about, is getting the people help what they need, and limiting that UPA stuff. I mean, it's such a gray area, man. Once again, I'm not a contractor, nor do I want to be, but at the same time, there's a black hole in this industry, and we all got to work together instead of beating each other's heads against the wall to
Right.
figure out what's best for Mrs. Jones in Central Florida when her roof is blown the hell off. That's the
Mhm.
key. It's not about you or I or the roofer or the insurance company. It's about them.
Right.
And we forget that. So we got some stuff going on behind the scenes here that we're going to announce shortly. That we're going to start bringing people together on this stuff, because it's adversarial relationships on either side is not healthy for any of us. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, synergy is a big
yes,
thing that you know, I would give a shout out to Anthony Delmedico.
yeah.
He's done a great job at bringing people together in the industry,
hmm
and the synergy that happens at those events is absolutely nuts. I love it.
So I'll
Uh,
tell you, I've been at every SVG event since it started. Domenico and I live 5 minutes or 5 miles from each other. I know him very well, and I told him to his face, and I would not be where I am in my career without SVG.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's all bullshit. Every event has bullshit and garbage and
Right.
whatever.
Shit happens, dude.
A speaker doesn't show up, you're in the wrong booth, whatever.
Right.
I get all that, but at the same time, so this is a relationship. But every business is
Mhm.
based on relationships. I don't care if it's a car wash, you're making bread, you're in a grocery store, you're a roofer, you're a PA. It's all about relationships. And with the 80% of our clientele has stemmed from the SVGs and the SRCs, all these events that we've been to, by meeting the right the right people, not all people, but the right people, right?
Right.
And the Medico's done a great job bringing attorneys, PAs, contractors, roofers, at least to the table, so we can start talking, right? Because
Right.
7, 8 years ago, man, we we're all, man,
I
these
know.
PAs suck. Yeah, that guy sucks, and it's been great. I mean, we've it's been a huge business boost for us. And once again, you got to learn to manage those relationships. So, and not everyone's a great relationship, so you got to pick and choose what's right for your company
Right.
and right for them, and do the right thing. And still, but it's a great platform. I'm there every year, and I'm on stage doing my thing and talking this stuff. And we're trying to do our part to bring this stuff together, because it's we're throwing we're in the insurance company's sandbox,
Right.
and they have the toys to remove us at any time. So we
Right.
have to be polite and empathetic and cooperative. And we choose at our company to do the right thing. I can't control what the other side does. I
Right.
can't control the IA, the insurance. If they want to do something wrong, that's on them, not on us. We're going to do the right thing every time. So if we
Right.
do have to move on down the road with different areas of that claim, we're going to be prepared for that, right? So
You know, the synergy that you're talking about there is I feel paramount to a lot of businesses.
yeah,
Going to that, I learned as a businessman to synergize through
Yeah.
going to those events.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I wouldn't have done that. Networking is such an important part of what
Yeah.
we do. And there's a lot of people that don't really get that. Like they stay at home, they go to work, they go to their claims, they roof their houses, they come back, and that's it.
Yep.
And they miss the opportunity to make a relationship with someone that could possibly help them and or they could help them
Yeah.
as well.
Well, even their competition, right? Like, if you're a roofing company, you're not talking to Sam Struthers or Nick Purcell or Jonathan Sherwood,
Oh,
or if you're not talking to those guys once a year or twice a year just to pick their brains on what's going on, because they've been there, done that, right? I mean,
yeah,
Logan Graff, I talk to all the time from Apple,
yeah,
and but I learn from them as well. If you're not learning from these, even I've made so many PA friendships and relationships that we talk all the time. There's no
right,
competition. We talk,
yeah,
and that's the beauty of it all. The synergy, man. It's a vibe you have, and if you're willing to put out and give and not expect anything back, that's when it starts. It just builds this huge momentum, and I can literally tell you that I probably have 30 to 40 PAs around the country that are close friends of mine now that I wouldn't have had the last 5 or 6 years, that we talk all the time about stuff. I mean, because when they win, we win. And, if they lose something we talk about stuff, right? And same thing with these roofing guys. If you're not learning from these guys who literally have started with a pickup truck in their garage and built
right,
these 15, $20 million, if not more, organizations, and number one, they're phenomenal people. If you're
right,
not learning from that and the pitfalls because once again, we've all been there, done that, right? We've all lost our shit.
right.
We've all slept in the truck for a night or had to sleep on the couch or whatever. Um, if you're not learning from those guys and absorbing and listening and being a sponge, you're really missing out, because never before has this industry been so open with knowledge and information and want to and help and olive branches, all those things. It's much different now than it was 5 years ago, and it's getting better every day. But we still have thousands of miles to go, right? But at least we're
Right.
starting. That's a great thing, man. It's a great thing.
I I absolutely love it. One thing that I've seen here in the past couple of years is the positive momentum and
Yeah.
movement towards change.
Yeah.
And that's something that has been lacking in the past. And actually here in the local area, Houston, that's something that I'm getting involved with right now this the organizations that you need to get into to
Yeah.
do those change, right? Because there are organizations that are paramount to these changes, and actually having a voice there. So joining the board, joining the committees,
Well,
like
yeah, that's just it. I mean,
important.
don't just show up. So I think what a lot of people think is they're going to run, they're going to show up to SVG or NAPIA or some organization, and they're going to sit there in the corner and they're going to write a check for $600 or $700
Right.
and gimme, gimme, gimme. Well, you got to get involved. You got to ask
Exactly.
questions. You got to find the cool kids table to get where you need to be and understand all this stuff,
Yeah.
right? And if you don't, it's on you. So you can't sit. I mean, the insurance companies are very organized. They are very organized, very,
Yeah.
very, very organized, right? And we are not. It's like we're herding cats, and
Yeah.
which I understand, because we're all businessmen, we're all entrepreneurs, all type A. I get that, but at the same time, we got to put our swords down and start working together, because number one, I'm not competing with my competition because I've never seen them on a claim, because there's so few of us, right?
Right.
Same thing on roofing companies, man. When a hailstorm hits Houston, there's enough work for everybody, I'm pretty sure. Or a tornado, there's enough work for all you
Yeah.
guys. So yeah, it's just a matter of organization and want to. And I think the want to was 100-fold what it was 5 years ago. I agree with you on that. It's getting better every day, but once again, we still have a long way to go. And I think the problem is, it's that 5% on either side. It's just a train wreck, right?
Right.
And then that's what we keep seeing on LinkedIn and Facebook. All these companies are doing dumb shit. Well,
Yeah.
most of the guys I know aren't doing dumb shit. They're good people and they're working hard. And if a mistake is made, it's corrected. And
Right.
it's a second. It's not a career, So
Right.
that's been a thing. And then everybody wants to point out the bad apples. There's 99% great apples out there, and I think we forget that sometimes. So
That's a very good point.
yeah.
Um,
Yep. I know thousands of people in this industry are just good freaking people.
Yeah.
Good, hardworking, honest, good parents, good fathers, good
Yeah.
husbands. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean we don't make mistakes, right? I think I
Right.
think I think people get confused on mistakes and being an asshole. Mistakes happen, right?
Right.
Mistakes are going to happen. Being an asshole is different, right? There's a few assholes in this business, but there's also, I mean, we make mistakes every day, but we're the first one to pick up the phone and correct that mistake in seconds. And most of us are like that, right?
Right.
So, and we forget that. So,
That's an awesome point. I like to talk about mindset a lot.
yep.
You are all over the place. And if, you're watching this, and Jack Hanks, he's all over the place. So Jack, tell us a little bit about all the flights and have you had many delays this year?
Just a few. You know what it is? So I live in Scottsdale, Arizona, and it is the worst area in the world to be a public adjuster because it never rains.
Yeah.
It's beautiful every day. There ain't nothing. There's no hurricanes. There's no fires. So I think we've done, I don't know, close to 1,500 claims the first 2 years.
Oh
I
man.
think 25 of them are in our backyard. Everything else is in Dallas,
Wow.
Houston. Yeah. So
Yeah. So
I
you're
live here
moving.
because it's home, not because it's a great place to run a PA firm. So we made a decision. I like, we're a very good. What I'm most proud of is our back end and our middle part of our business is as strong as our front end, right? I
Yeah.
really feel strongly that we can back up what we do, what we talk about. When you sign a claim, we're on site. We're not just sticking around with it and taking claims to be a machine. We're actually getting in there, getting down and dirty with it, and doing our thing. So, the travel stuff. Here's the cool part of my career right now. Not to be braggadocious or whatever, but I'm at the point in my career now. I can post, "Hey, I'm going to Jackson. I was in Jackson, Mississippi last week,
Right.
and I had dinner with Bradley Gardner and then Jason Perry and a couple. I have friends
Cool.
everywhere I go now because of
Right.
this business.
Yeah.
It's I enjoy the living hell out of it. Sitting down with a bottle of wine, talking about their families and their careers and their stuff, and I know their wives, and I get to
Yeah.
know. It's a very cool thing of my life that I'm in now, and I enjoy that as much as the actual adjusting now because getting to know people as people is the key, and it's
Right.
just cool. Yeah, and then the flights are, they suck, right? I was sitting on the runway in Jackson last week in a 16-seater plane for an hour and a half waiting for weather to clear to Houston to get
Yeah.
back home to Scottsdale, and my back's killing me, my knees hurt, and everything else, but it's all part of it, man. We made that choice, and we all enjoy it. And our documentation guys are on the road literally 35 weeks a year, 40 weeks a year looking at claims,
Yeah.
and it's a choice. Our travel number is ridiculous, our P&L, but it pays off, and you got to go get the work, right? I can't sit in my office in
Right.
Scottsdale and know what's going on. So we get out there and we do it, and we have a good time with it. But then again, it's all planned. It's part of our business model. It's not random.
Right.
We plan these trips out 3-4 weeks in advance, and we sit down with our operations staff, and we have pins on a map of all the areas we have to be at the next 30 days, and we work right through them, man. It's just we have a machine created, and it seems to be working, thank God. So,
And that's awesome. I'd like to get into mindset and
mhm.
where you were at. Like, what brought you into entrepreneurship, and what brought you into the roofing industry?
So entrepreneurship, man. So my dad was a plumber.
Okay.
So I grew up in Indiana. I went to Indiana University, and every summer in high school and college, I worked with my father as a plumbing. I was digging holes, hauling pipe, getting down and dirty, getting my ass kicked in, right?
Okay.
So I'm like, man, this sucks. It's hot. My dad made a great living as a plumber, took care of our family. It was great. Had a great pension, all that stuff. But man, it was hard work, bro. I mean, I
Yeah.
come home just dirty as shit, right? And then I'm like, I'm gonna go to college and I'm gonna not do this, and I'm gonna be this, blah 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 blah. So I go to college and I get out, and literally my first job is a sales rep for a construction company.
Uh,
I'm like, damn it, back in the
wow.
thing. Yeah, so I think it's when it's in your blood, it's in your blood. And I became a restoration contractor for 20 years, and I did that all over the country. We did, hurricanes and ice storms, all that stuff. And
Okay.
It got to the point where the insurance, I was a vendor for all the carriers, and it got to the point where they started running my businesses, right? They started running where you buy your materials, how you
Right.
put it in, how much you're going to get.
Yeah.
Uh, and I was going, if the mailbox wasn't good for us that day, we had a problem.
Right.
So I made a decision a bunch of years ago, like, man, I like this PA thing a lot. I think I'd be good at it. And then I get into it, and I didn't realize how complex and complicated it was. And
Yeah.
it took a few years to get my mind switched around, and then understanding the business of it all. And that's where we're at. But yeah, I started digging holes and digging ditches, bro, back in the '80s. So yeah, yeah,
Damn.
yeah,
All right. So that's something I didn't know about you.
yeah,
Um, Plumbing. That's freaking awesome. So it's a trade, right?
yeah.
Um, let's talk about when you switched to being a public adjuster. What I mean, really, I know that the insurance company was like dictating pretty much what
Mhm.
was going on.
Yep.
Aside from that, what was going through your mind to push you to that?
It was several years ago, but I remember sitting. So a little funny story is I went to work for Skipton and Associates out here in Phoenix as my first gig as a PA, and
Okay.
I've known Dave Skipton for 20 years. We both started at the same time. Where he's a little bit older than I am, but we kind of both started in the early '90s, and he was always a PA and I was always a contractor. We never really worked together. We knew each other, and he kept offering me a job like, "Hey man, you got to come over here. Here's a salary and da 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 da." I'm like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna finish this contracting thing out." So finally, about I don't know when it was, several years ago, I they offered me a really nice gig, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna wait a while. I'm not ready to do this, right? So finally, I got to the point where I'm like, screw this. So I literally got divorced and wound down my construction company and all these things. I went and had lunch with Dave. He goes, "Hey, we still want you, but things are different. We're gonna go full commission, no salary." I'm like, I'll be there tomorrow. He's like,
Okay.
"What?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow. That's fine, whatever." So I go in, I start doing my thing. First day, I signed a fire in Tucson. Get going. Next thing you know, he's like, "I really wish I'd have put you on salary."
Oh shit.
Because yeah, I have a knack for knowing how to go get work. So it was cool, and I learned a
Right.
lot. And then yeah, I got to the point where I've been an entrepreneur since 1992. I've been working for myself. Besides those 5 years over at
Holy
Skipton.
shit. That's as
Yeah, and
I was born in 92.
yeah, I'm an okay employee. But when you're an entrepreneur, your head's always 18 things ahead.
Yeah.
So it got to the point where I was either gonna start my own firm or partner with somebody. We made a decision to start our own, and here we are, man. Yeah, but it's been a long, crazy road. What I didn't realize when I was first becoming I thought honestly I could go in, sign a claim, write a really good Xactimate estimate, send it in, and get a check. Right?
Huh.
That's what most that's what most PAs think.
Right.
This is
Right.
easy
Yeah, yeah.
shit, man. Blah 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 blah. You have to listen to me. I'm a PA and blah blah blah. Well, that's about 1 millionth of 1/10% of what we do, right? So it took me a few years to learn. It's not about the estimate, man. It's
Right.
about the policy and negotiation and the chess game involved and all the pieces and parts behind the scenes and the documentation and the weather reports and the engineering reports and it's all these. I mean, the estimate's the easy part, man.
Right.
That's the easy part, and I think a lot of PAs coming into it from the roofing background or the general contracting background, like myself, didn't really understand the business of it. And thank God I have really smart people I partnered with that are business people that have put the reins of our business together and the bumpers, and we have technology and we have rules and we have this. We run a business, right? And that's
Right.
the key to this thing. And I think a lot of public adjusters, like I said, and I was guilty of that, man. We came in and I'm like, I'm just gonna write estimates and get claims bought. Well, that doesn't
Right.
work.
Right.
And that's what I think a lot of roofing guy get calls every day. I'm going to become a PA. I'm like, I
Yeah.
get that, but there's a pile of
Oh, yeah.
stuff behind you don't see. Yeah, yeah, and it's hard. I'm not going to kid you. It's not easy, man. It's not. It's expensive. It's costly. It's hard. It's a grind. It's frustrating. It's great. It's all those things all at once, like any good business is, right?
But rewarding.
Yes. So that's the cool part about this. We get to wear capes, do the right thing, and when you're successful, you do very well.
Right.
However, on the downside of that, you can be average and still make a good living. And I think that's where our industry fails.
Right.
I think the entry of a PA is too easy to get a license. I
Yeah.
could see it'd be harder to get a license. I like to see some fiduciary requirements, things like that.
Okay.
You can be average and make 150 grand a year.
Mm.
Is that good for the industry? I don't think so. Right.
Right.
Yeah. I
You
think
need
that's
to be exceptional when you deal with policyholders. You were talking about that earlier. This is
yeah.
about the policyholder and making them whole. And
Yes.
that's something that's I don't know if you've been paying attention to what's going on with me, but I'm not a roofer anymore.
Right.
So like it's a cool thing now. I'm more trying to lobby towards change now, right?
Yep.
Like what we need to do to get this thing in the right direction, especially in the local area, because it starts here. Um, what it, so I know you speak, you talk to people, you mentor other people, um, roofing contractors, public adjusters. Tell me a little bit more about that. Some of the phone calls that you get, and how do you respond?
So yeah, we started doing training about 4 years ago, and we've trained over 300 of our competitors. Right.
Mm.
I'm not saying what we do is the end all, the right thing. All I know is it works for us, and we there's just not enough great PAs out there. I found, and when I started, once again, I had no training. I literally got my license. I started driving around looking at fires. I didn't know what the hell to do.
Yeah.
Literally, I didn't no idea what to do. So
Holy
um,
crap.
yeah, so Cal Spoon and these other guys are great. We're all trying to just to get more information out there, right? There's more than one ways to do a claim, but it's all about getting people the knowledge to make those good decisions. And there's there's thousands of PAs in the country, and I think a small percentage of them actually have any training whatsoever. So the cool part about our training is, number one, we learn a ton from that, because something will pop up in training like, oh my God, that works. I never thought of that, or whatever. The next, you know what I mean? The next thing comes up, right?
Yeah.
And the cool part too is we've actually developed so many relationships through our training that they become friends. We use them as appraisers. We recommend business back and forth. If
Right.
we don't do small residential claims, right? Because we just don't. That's not our bandwidth. But
Right.
I know 30, 40, 50 guys around the country. I can throw a claim in Houston or Dallas or Oklahoma City or Seattle that I've trained, that we know them personally, that are
Right.
good guys that we can throw a claim to, and that know that policyholder is going to be okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we talk. I mean, I there has not been one day, including the weekends, since we started training, that I haven't spoke to one of our trainees on something, personal, business, adjusting stuff, recommending somebody, connecting somebody. That's been the cool part. That's that whole synergy,
Yeah.
giving back thing, right?
Yeah.
And it works, and it's a very cool organic thing, and I'm shocked by the relationships I've created because of that. I'm talking badass, cool people in my life now just because of that. It's crazy, yeah.
So
And
you couldn't
I
have
never
done that
had that.
sitting on your couch.
What's that?
You couldn't have done that sitting on your couch.
You can't do that sitting on your couch. No.
Hey,
That's
people make fun of my whole shark mentality thing. I mean, I really, really push that a lot.
Oh yeah,
It's absolutely fucking true. Like, if you do not get up and go after, you have to act. Like,
yeah,
you have to act on it. And that rolls back to the change. You
yeah.
talking about change. Like, are you gonna do what everyone else has done? Uh-oh.
I got you.
Oh,
There we
there
go.
you go.
Sorry.
Are you gonna do what everyone else has done in your life or before you? Or are you gonna change that and actually get up off your ass and go out and do something?
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's just putting yourself or making yourself available into those circles that will greater your reach or make you learn something.
Well, the biggest thing. So I get these guys like, hey, how do you get all these big fucking roofs? Oh, excuse me. How do you get all these big
You
roofs? How do you get all these?
yeah, you say
How
whatever
do you
you
get all
want.
these big claims? I'm like, I answer my phone. They're like, what?
Yeah,
I go, I answer my
yeah,
phone. I answer my
yeah,
phone. It's on. It sits next to me. I'm watching the game, and the phone rings. I'll answer it. What I
yeah,
mean, it's not, it's not rocket science, right?
yeah,
If I'm out to dinner with my kids, whatever, I'll look at the call. And, hey, I'll call you back in 30 minutes. It's like you just said, dude. It's being available and looking. Opportunities are right in front of all of us, but if you're not available and getting your ass out of bed and getting in, doing your thing, and getting on that plane or getting in the office or going to that trade show or getting on a podcast or posting something on Facebook or whatever, you're not going to have that opportunity. That's what it's all about, right? Is creating those opportunities. And there's not one trade show I haven't been to or one event that we haven't got something out of it. But you have to be available and be able to accept those things, right? And you don't even look for them, but they come organically. And I think that's where a lot of guys fail. Like, dude, we have bad days in here, right?
Right.
I guarantee you, I'm still in here at 6:30 every morning doing the grind, and all my guys and staff are doing the same thing, right?
Yeah.
You know, we don't win every claim, quote unquote. But then again, we give every claim our effort. We don't score touchdowns all the time, but we give effort every time. And you'd be surprised how organically that has become a thing. I think we're known throughout the industry as hardworking, traveling, large loss PA guys.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we are, because that's the vibe of what we are. And there's no BS there. There's no smoke. There's no mirrors. If you have a claim in Maine that's $5 million, I'll be there tomorrow. Great. Let's do that. Right?
Yeah.
And that's happened before. So, but once again, people know that we're available and we're going to work hard and not going to blow smoke. And it's a vibe you put out that you create, and you got to live up to it at the same time. And I think a lot of people, they don't live up to it all the time. That's the frustration, right? But yeah, you got to get your ass out of bed, and you got to be a shark, man. And if you're not, you're just, I don't like being bored or being average. That's not my
average
thing.
That's the fucking problem. Okay, so on both sides of the fence, on contractor and PA, average, being mediocre is absolutely fucking retarded. So I'm gonna be 100% honest. You hit me up a few years ago, and I think there was like a Magnolia, Texas storm or something like that. It was fucking 2.5 inches or something like that. And I had just gotten out of a bad relationship with a PA. And so I know we had talked, and I was like, yeah, I got this PA I'm doing business with, but I really wasn't. What was happening was I was trying to do the shit on my own. And I realized as a contractor, you can't do that. You have to have a partnership with someone or multiple people. So let's talk about that, because I know for me, because I had PTSD from a public adjuster giving, or not necessarily giving, recommended heavily torturous interference with my contract. Okay. And it's happened multiple times.
Yeah.
And so the issue though is that the contractor thinks that they're entitled to that business, and they're not entitled to the business. What they need to understand is that they're entitled to relationships.
Yes, that's so yes, all that. So the entitlement thing. So once again, here's the tricky part for us, right? 99.9% of my referrals are roofing contractors, general contractors, restoration guys. We're referral business till the day I'll die. And these are friends, and they are these are people I know, and I can go through a list on Facebook, man. And but they're not my client. They're a referral source. Okay?
Exactly.
And I tell them, I work for, so my as a fiduciary public adjuster, my only job is to represent the client and get them a fair and accurate settlement.
Right.
That's a little bit of a rub sometimes, because I may get to the point where I'm at $256,000 on the settlement, and the contractor needs $320 to be I'm like, is it worth suing over $50,000? Probably not. So what do we?
Right.
So it's tough, right? And we try to heavily communicate with our roofing vendor partnerships we have, right? Yes. However, we're very adamant we don't work for them.
Yes.
We work with them, not for them, right? And they got a contract on their own with the insured. They got to get the money right with them. My job is to bring the money to the table, give it to the insured, have them hire the roofing contractor, and get that roof done, right?
Yes.
So it's a parallel relationship
that
we don't cross.
Right.
And a lot of roofing companies, man, they get, man, it's hard, because 99% of them are great, but there's always that few that want to get in the middle of it all, and then because they've been burned so many times, bro. And I get that, because I get those freaking, like, I don't care who the insured hires. I in my heart, I want them to hire the contract that referred us, because that's morally and ethically, that's the right thing to do.
Right.
That's the right thing to do. However, I can't say you have to hire this guy.
Right.
I would do everything I can to make sure. And what we try to do is keep the roofer in the loop. Hey, our inspection is 9 o'clock on Tuesday. We'll be there. If you want to drop by, and we want to keep them in front of the client. That's the idea. And
Yes.
if the roofing company is great at what they do, they're going to sell themselves along the way anyway. So it's not a thing.
Exactly.
It's not a thing. And
Yeah.
it's difficult sometimes that I've had several, hey, I don't want to use this guy anymore because he felt the face of the earth. I'm like, I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that.
These guys come and go and blah, blah, blah. And all that stuff.
Right.
And it's hard business, man. PAs too. They don't communicate and they feel
Yeah.
entitled all the time. It's bullshit. So,
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, I know at that time, this brings into the next subject that I think is really needs to be talked about, because you
uh-oh.
guys do a lot more than what a lot of people put out. Contractors, I know myself, because of that PTSD,
Yeah.
I've called a PA and said, "Hey, listen, I got a question on this claim.
Yep.
Can you help me?"
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, I need to put boots on the ground. This is a church, or this is
Mm-hmm.
whatever, right?
Yeah, I get that.
And so they come and they look at it just to find out that it is not their target. It's not their cup. That's not what they're there to do, or the client's got an issue or whatever, right?
Or it's not real
Whatever.
damage or whatever. Or there's a funky policy. Yep.
Exactly. Not real damage. I've run into that. Like,
Yep.
I didn't know what the fuck I was looking at.
Yep.
I just didn't. And that PA took the decency and the time to walk me through it and say, "Listen, dude, this is not hail.
Yep.
I wish it was. It's leaking, but it's not due to this shit."
Yes.
Do you do that a lot?
Yeah. So we are as the older I get, the more particular we are with claims. Because what I don't want to do. So here's the thing with that. I have a fiduciary responsibility to my company to be profitable.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's hard because we want to help everybody. Sometimes we can't. And so if here's what I look at: damage, data loss, policy. If those three things align, right, then we have a claim.
Yeah.
If one of those three things isn't there, it's not a real claim.
Yeah.
And why in the hell do I want to put a policyholder through a year of living hell with inspections back and forth, emails, phone calls on not a real claim? And we all know, I've done it. You get that claim and you get a little heartburn because it doesn't feel right, and you take it anyway. And you're 9 months into it. I spent $26,000 of our money, and we're nowhere. And the client's pissed. Like, why in the hell? And then the roofer's up our butt. You said you can get this done, and you can get this done. So I think the industry has to be very particular. Like, so what I've learned the last couple of years is no is an acceptable answer.
Ooh, if you're listening, pay attention. Repeat that one more time.
No is an acceptable answer.
That's good shit.
Yeah, I cannot help you because this is not damage during this policy period. It's someone stormed 3 years ago, and I'd rather give them that pain then, because and then what usually happens is somebody else will go take the claim and it goes down to whatever.
Right.
But I morally and ethically we very rarely take iffy claims anymore. Hardly at all. Just because, we learned the hard way, right? Well, we spend all our money on shitty claims. I don't have any money left to do the good claims. And I owe that to my company and our clients and our partnerships and things like that. So, that has a lot to do with training and expectations up front. We signed a huge job in Mississippi a couple of months ago, which I was just there last week on. And before I signed it, I flew in. I spent 2 days on the property with the owner and the roofer, and we looked at it all.
Okay.
And I read the policy, and I'm like, and I had the storm date, and it's $30 million claim. Okay. But we spent $3,000 or $4,000 up front just to make sure. I'd rather spend the $3,000 up front,
right,
to make damn sure this rabbit hole. Because once I go down a rabbit hole,
oh man,
I'm going to spend $250,000 like that. Right. So we have to go down that rabbit hole. We got to be very particular, and there's nothing wrong with telling the owner this is not real. It's not a real storm date. This isn't hail. This is all these other things that the buzz mechanical or foot traffic. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's mechanical and foot traffic or whatever that, and that's okay. And learning to say no has been the biggest challenge for me personally, because I'm a sales guy at heart. So I'm like, yeah, let's do all this, right? Let's run through the tunnel and bash our heads against the wall. But that's a good way to go broke. So we've learned, and
Right.
we've taken these things. We're very particular. I'm not saying if it's gray or iffy, we're not going to take it. But if the meat potatoes of the claim is there, you're damn right. But if it's not, you got to be honest with your client, because goes back to the expectation thing, right?
Yeah.
If there's no way in hell it's going to get done, why would I want to spend time, energy, and money and get their hopes up just to let them down? That's a horrible relationship to have, right? For all of us. So
Yeah.
no is okay, and it's hard to do, but guys, we got to be transparent with each other. And roofer guys, every roof in Texas doesn't have hail. A lot of them do. Some don't. Let's be smart about it, right? Because there's enough good work out there for everybody to get it done right. And I sometimes a roofing, they don't need us because it's an obvious damage. Great, then that's cool, man.
Yeah.
But what my biggest frustration is, I'll get a call like, hey, I've had 2 denials and an engineer report, and what can you do? You know what the answer is? No damn thing. Not a damn thing.
Nothing.
Because it's the hole's so deep, and it's the claim is 14 months old.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I talk about my best friend a lot just because I don't name him, but if you're listening, I'm talking about you. There's a lot of things that there was a claim. The reason why I'm bringing this up, there's a claim like 2 years ago, and man, he was just sold on getting the client in with an appraiser or a PA, and got a PA on it, and it just did not go the way that that he wanted it, or the client was so angry.
Okay.
And it's like, dude, hold on. For one, you're really trying to make me do 2 claims in one, and that just doesn't happen. That doesn't work. There's 2 different losses here, 2 different deductibles.
Yep.
And over time, right, through the learning from the public adjuster, from these appraisers, because that public adjuster gave him a bad taste in his mouth. He's like, fuck public adjusters, fuck that. And I was just like, dude, hold on. Listen, let's go out to lunch with the guy. I want you to talk to him about that. I want you to listen to what he was talking about this claim. And then you go and talk to your PA that you're really good friends with, and then go talk to the appraiser too. See what they all say about this one claim. And when it came down to it, we were ignorant or ill-informed as a contractor, right?
Yeah.
In that respect. And so I feel it's important, it's paramount that contractors pair up with people like yourself so that they are able to understand and navigate this thing we call entrepreneurship in the roofing industry, because we don't have it all figured out. None of us do.
Well, I'd rather get a call for a claim I'm not going to get and spend 5 minutes to help somebody than get a call 8 months down the road for a messed up claim. That it's a disaster. And usually, it's what we do, right? It's like our staff can tell within 10 or 15 minutes what the deal is with the claim, because we have that experience. So bad claims have a lot of red flags, and as soon as there's one, there's usually 10. And there's a reason why they're red flags, and we have to learn as an industry that's not a real claim and quit. So I've been preaching this lately on some of my stuff is PAs we're not garbage dumps for claims. We're not. We are not garbage dumps for claims.
Oh shit.
We're not, bro.
That's good. Yes.
A lot of roofers, a lot of PAs, they think we're a garbage. Like, here's a fucked up claim, Hanks. Go fix it. Right? You know why it's a fucked up claim?
Because
it's not real damage. The policy's not in place. It's an ACV policy. But there's a million, whatever.
Yes.
Jesus Christ himself, who was an attorney, couldn't fix that claim, right? It's unfixable because it's not real, right?
Yes.
I can promise you from the bottom of my heart, if it's a real claim, we'll get it done. We will get it done, right? It's going to be a grind, but we will get it done. If it's not real, it ain't going to happen. Every once in a while, there'll be a post. Oh my God, we just won, blah, blah, blah. That's a 1 in a million shot, right? It's hard. So, dude, it's hard enough getting a real claim bought, let alone an outlier, right?
Right.
How many Hail Marys get bought, right? How many Hail Marys one out of a thousand, maybe.
Right.
So let's not get caught up in the emotion of that. It's a business. Do it right. Pick good claims. Pick good clients. Work together. Learn to say no. Be honest and transparent, and then go. Right. I bet
Yes.
we probably turn down 30% of the stuff that comes in here.
Damn, that's a lot.
Yeah, and
That's a good thing though. Like, one thing that a lot of successful people that I talk to that come on this broadcast, they say is they focus in on 1 to 2 good things or 3 good things that they're good at. They get laser focused on that and they operate within that lane and they do not fucking deviate. And that's something that we see on the outside, just letting you know at when people, I know that when I look at VPA, that's what I see. Laser focused. And that's something that, like, you got a $30 million claim, you know who to call.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the business model. We've kind of grown into that, right? And we've taken our lumps, but at the same time, I've learned what a good claim is. I learned what we want to do and more importantly, what we don't want to do. Because I think we all get caught in the emotion of stuff. Like you're talking about before, the roofing salesman wanted this claim to get done so bad because his commission is going to be $117,000.
Right.
I would love to have that guy get a commission for that.
Yeah.
But it's not real. And if it's not real, it ain't never going to happen. And all you're doing is wasting your time, because there's so many good opportunities out there and situations and good claims and good roofing companies and good PAs. Focus on that stuff, man. And if you focus on, we've kind of fell into this large loss public adjuster thing, but we're damn good at it. We are damn good at that.
Yeah.
But once again, we know what a good claim looks like, right? And our ratios of success now have quadrupled just because we know what the box is. You got to know what your box is going in, and the minute you deviate from your box, you're going this way. Like I'm only good at a couple things in my life, and the more I stray from that, the harder it is, and it never goes well. I'm 57 years old. I'm still learning that every day. It's just part of it, right? So learn from our mistakes, guys.
That is great. Do you have a mentor?
I do have a business partner that keeps my head in line. I learned a lot from other PAs in the beginning.
Yeah.
I'm at the stage of my life. I'm starting to be the mentor guy now, which makes me feel
right.
But it feels cool, man. I got probably a dozen PAs out there that I talk to almost on a daily basis that don't even work for us, that we just help them with stuff, man. It's just like, hey, do this, do this, do this. Here's what I think, and it's cool. It takes 4 minutes, man. It's nothing. It's no big deal. I feel this may sound weird and very, once again, a little bit braggadocious, but when I won the SVG PA of the Year award, was it last year? There's a coffee shop I hit every morning coming in the office, and I'm sitting in line, and I got this trophy next to me, just a trophy, no big deal, right? And I look at that thing, I'm like, you know what? I've done well in this business. I've made a ton of friends. I'm very comfortable with my where I'm at in this world. I need to start giving back more. And that's when it started clicking. Like, man, I need to give more back to this business, this industry, because if I don't, who the hell's going to?
There you go.
I feel after this time in my life, I've earned a voice. I've earned an opportunity to be kind of leading the pack of some of this stuff, and I'm done with some of the garbage in our industry. And I've that stuff is aside. I'm going to be focused on growing our industry, and vicariously our business will grow along with that.
Right.
But if I can help this industry be better, even 1% better, I've done my job. I feel right. That's we all got to contribute that way. A lot of us don't, and I think that's where we fail, because we get so worried about holding our stuff so close.
Yep.
There's enough stuff for everybody, man. There really is. So,
man, that is absolutely on point. I don't know. I don't know how to say it. I couldn't say it any better. When you focus on what you're good at, and you don't deviate, you're gonna succeed. And if you'll learn from the failures, that's where you'll actually start to turn into a diamond. Like, how many
so it's all
times
part
do
of
you
it.
see that?
The journey is the most important part. Like, making money and success is the easy part. That's easy.
Yeah.
Right. That's the fun stuff, dude. Eating good meals, having great wine. That's easy.
Right.
The hard part is getting your ass whooped in a few times and then learn it. Dude, I look back at some of the claims I took when I was a younger PA, and I'm like mortified. Like, I guarantee I can get those deals done now, and I'm so pissed. I feel horrible for the client because I probably didn't do the best job,
Yeah.
but I did the best job I could at that time. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yes.
8, 9, 10 years ago, my mind's different now than it was because I've learned from the failures more than anything. So, we have a program in here. We bring young PAs in so we have a little progression, right? The documentation guys want to be younger PAs. They learn how to document a claim first.
Yeah.
Then they go take their test. Then we start them on small claims just to learn how it goes.
Yeah.
And we give them some crap on
Yeah.
purpose.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you know what? They're going to learn from that denial a lot more from the successes because it's easy, right? So you got to learn. Our business is a chess game, right? It's a no one to move, no one to do this, no one to that.
Yeah.
And these younger PAs, if they can learn to maneuver in the chess game of it all on $100,000 denied tile claim in Dallas,
Yeah.
and even though we don't win, they're going to learn from that and be better from that, right? That's how it works, right? Bill Belichick doesn't win every game he's in, but he has a damn good run at it, right? And
Right.
because he has a system, and he
Right.
sticks to the system, he doesn't deviate, and they're okay every year, and they're profitable. They have a good organization, and they win. That's
Yeah.
the key, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, that's whew. How long does it take whenever you're gone to start missing home?
So it doesn't. I'm at the point. I'm single. My kids are both grown. My son works for
Woo!
law school.
Oh,
And
sweet.
yeah, so I'm at a really cool. I mean, I have a beautiful home. I love Scottsdale. I do I get more tired than missing home because
Yeah.
my biggest thing when I'm on the road is it's every night we work all day, and then there's usually a dinner with clients, and
Yeah.
so I'm not. It's my life is pretty cool. I get to travel, see a lot of cool stuff, have great friendships along the way, eat at good restaurants. So, when I was in Florida for 4 straight months. I didn't miss Phoenix at once because, you're working seven days a week from
Yeah.
6:30 in the morning till 8 o'clock. You don't have time to get homesick or get tired.
Right.
Plus all my friends are there, or my work people are there, and all my roofing buddies are there. So it's like an old high school reunion usually, right? You go in
Oh,
and
yeah.
you see everybody. So I enjoy traveling. I enjoy the relationship part of it is what drives me to be on the road a lot, because literally every night I get to see a friend and hang out with a friend and just be with them. That's the cool part, right? That's the cool part.
Relationships matter.
Every day. And the older you get, the more they mean, and they start to blossom more, and you get to know the people, right? It's not about the roof or the tile it's
Right.
about the people, and you get to know them and what makes them tick, and it motivates the crap out of me, to be honest with you. It's pretty cool. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm on the supply side now doing just full-time content creation and podcasts. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And like I'm able to help the contractor more, and it's that servant mentality of what can I
Yes.
do to help you, and where can I be of service? And that's all I'm trying to do right now. Like, I'm not trying to make any kind of sale at all. Like, what I'm trying to do is impact people in a different way. All that, everything else will fall in line after that. And
Yeah.
when I realized that, it started working for me a lot better.
Yeah, the sales thing is, once again, it's organic, right? We never ask for a claim. We get calls
Right.
every day because they know who we are, they know what
Yeah.
we do, and it's organic, and that's the cool part. And then sales is easy when you can back it up.
Yep.
Sales, and that's where most of us fail. We can't back up what we sell, and that's where most
Ooh.
companies fail. Most PAs fail. Most roofers fail. You can't back up what you talk about, man. You gotta walk the walk. It's okay to be a
Mhm.
little cocky about it, right? It's okay
Yeah.
to we're not very shy here on our successes. People know about it, but at the same time, we put the effort in. That's what I'm most proud of. We actually, these big awards we get, these $2.5 million, $3 million awards.
Yeah.
I had 178 emails on that claim, guys.
Holy
Right, on these big ones, it takes a while, and there's work and effort put in. I'm
Yeah.
more proud of the work and effort because that's what got us there.
Yeah.
That's the key, right? That's the key to that thing. That's the meat and potatoes. The fun part is getting the check in the mail and going out to dinner with your client. That's the easy part.
Right.
Hard part's the
Doing
170
all the other
emails,
shit.
56 phone calls to get there, and the negotiation back and forth, and the chess match. That's the hard part, right? That's the hard
Right.
part.
Oh, lost you again.
Oh, right.
What one thing would you tell a contractor or someone that's thinking about going into entrepreneurship? One good piece of advice before they jump into the next thing.
Well, what I would do is I would find out what you're great at and what you love to do. Because if you don't love it, you're not great at it. You're not going to be good at it. You don't want to. There's nothing worse than waking up and hating your job, right?
Yeah.
So you got to love it, and it's got to mean something to you, and you got to be passionate about it. And then find great people. What I've learned is I have a lot of deficiencies, and I put people in place to take care of those deficiencies who are better at than I am. Like, I have not wrote a check, paid a bill here since we started. I hate that shit.
Yeah.
I hate the accounting. I hate all that stuff. But I have great people who love doing that.
Yeah.
Right? Find out what you're great at. Find out what your passion is. Find the business that fits. And I think a lot of people get caught up in going into a business.
Yeah.
Find out. Don't worry about the business. Find out what you're great at, and then pick it. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
Find your passion, your heart, your soul. What motivates the crap out of you, and then find a business that fits that protocol. Because I think a lot of us want to be roofers because it's an easy thing to do. Well, if you hate roofing, don't fucking do it.
Yes.
If you hate being an attorney, don't be an attorney. Right? Find out what your passion and niche is, and then the money's the easy part, man. Money's the easy part. Waking up every morning and loving what you do. I love what I do, and I think that shows, and people feed off that and feel that. And I think that's where it's not. You can tell people just have a job.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh God, when they answer the phone, you're like, oh God, this guy hates his life. Right.
Yeah.
I don't want to work with people like that, man. Right.
Yeah. I want to be around eagles and not just around chickens, basically. The store
exactly.
The store with eagles, hang out with chickens.
Yep.
Hang out with chickens.
Yep.
Man, this has been an awesome broadcast. Jack, thank you so much for coming on.
You're welcome, man.
And helping us with this thing that we call entrepreneurship. Again, if you were watching this live today, I appreciate you for getting on here. Please go and like and subscribe. Roofing on the Rise. Remember, we are sponsored by Roofing Supply Incorporated, where you can get all your shingles here in Houston. Y'all have a wonderful